I welcome once again to this channel. My name is Msime Alex, and today we are basically going to look at domicile in family law. What is domicile? Categories of domicile and importances of domicile. That's what we are going to look at today. And in simple terms, what is domicile? Basically, domicile means a place that a person calls home, a place that a person cannot leave, a place that a person takes as a permanent home. That if that person leaves that place, then we can call him an alien or we can call him a stranger. And that is, in simple terms, what is domicile. A domicile was basically discussed or defined in the case of Erina Chiyingi versus Dr. Agri Chiyingi. It's a civil appeal number 41 of 2014. It defines domicile as a country which a person calls a permanent home. As a country which a person calls a permanent home. And you also need to appreciate that the Blackstone Dictionary by Brian A. Garner at page 523 also defines domicile. Domicile, it defines domicile as a place at which a person has been physically present and that person regards as home. The place that a person has been permanently and that place is regarded as home. So you need to know that domicile is a status attributed to a person who is a permanent resident in a particular jurisdiction. That is what you need to appreciate. It can as well mean that a person is domiciled in that country in which he or she is deemed to have lived permanently. That is very, very important, and you need to appreciate it. Domicile, you need to also know that domicile is different from nationality. Domicile is different from nationality. What you need to know that domicile is basically, it actually depends on the fact that the person is in a place physically and intends that place to be home. If you don't intend that place to be a home, then it does not make it your domicile. That is very, very important that you have to really appreciate. So in the case of Mark versus Mark, it's a case of 2005, UKHL at page 42. Court observed that domicile is a concept of common law. And it also observed that a person must always have a domicile but can only have one domicile. That is what that case espoused about. So as I earlier said, a person can have uh, two nationality, two citizenships can be, but cannot have two domiciles. That is what we mean. That these two concepts are kind of different. What is the importance of domicile? How is domicile important? How do you find domicile important? You need to know that domicile determines the mutual rights, obligations of a husband, wife, and children. That is very important. That is one of the importances of domicile. It determines the mutual obligations, rights of husband, wife, and children. Further, domicile determines the legitimacy of children. Domicile determines the legitimacy of children. It is also important in determining whether court has jurisdiction of nullifying a given marriage or a marriage in question. Because in Uganda, court cannot dissolve marriage of the petitioner if that petitioner is not domiciled in Uganda. If a person is not domiciled in Uganda, then especially the person that petitions, then court will not dissolve that marriage. That is very, very important. You need to also know that domicile is also important in determining the validity of marriage. Where parties have, for example, where parties have celebrated their marriages according to rules of a different country, then now this other country domicile must take effect in determining the validity of that marriage. Different countries have different considerations as to determination of the type of marriage. So you need to appreciate that. Let's now look at categories, different categories of domicile. Number one, we have a domicile of origin, or what we call natural domicile. Number two, we have domicile of choice, where you choose your own domicile. And number three, we have domicile of dependency, or domicile by operation of thereof, or what we call dependent domicile. Let's now begin with domicile of origin. Basically, domicile of origin, this is the type of domicile which is acquired at birth. Every person must have domicile. The fact that you're born, then you must acquire a domicile. And in this type of domicile is acquired, is actually adopted from the father. Your father must, you take on your father's domicile. That is what the law provides. And this refers to domicile acquired at birth, and thereafter children normally acquire the domicile of their father. However, in case a child is born after the father has died, so now the domicile will depend on the laws of that country. Let's say the woman gives birth, but at the time of giving birth, the father to that child had already died. Then the law will determine what kind of domicile will that child take, depending on the jurisdiction. That is very important. In most cases, the child can take on the domicile of the mother when the father had died before. Then the child will take on the domicile of the mother. So let's now look at domicile by choice, where a person chooses his or her own domicile. What is it? So a child's domicile of origin remains with him unless the domicile of choice is established. You may be born in a certain country where you automatically acquire a domicile by birth, but you may later desire to change your domicile. That means the domicile of choice will take its course. Here, in short, you choose to live in a country, uh, depending, as long as you have an intention of staying in that country, then that country can give you domicile. Then you can acquire a domicile by choice. You will appreciate that domicile of choice uh, according to the case of IRC versus Bullock. It's a case of 1976 of Volume 1, Weekly Law Reports at page 1178. That case will espouse, especially the decision of Lord Justice Brackley, where he outlined that when a man fixes voluntarily his sole or chief residence in a particular place with an intention of continuing to reside there for an unlimited time, then that person acquires domicile of choice. That is what we mean. So you need to know it is acquired by a person of the majority age. If you're below 18, you cannot acquire a domicile of choice. If you're below 18, you cannot acquire a domicile of choice. That's what we mean when we say that it is acquired by persons of full age, persons that have acquired, that have attained majority age. And you must have an intention of living permanently in that country, in that place. If you don't have an intention of living in that country, then they cannot give you that kind of domicile. That is very, very important. And you must prove that actually you have an intention. Having an intention is not enough, but you must go on and prove that you want to stay in that country for a very, very long time. So let's now look at the domicile of dependent. That's what we call dependent domicile. It is also important that you appreciate it. So this uh, is a type of domicile that is acquired depending on the operation of the law. The law at times determines which kind of domicile you should take on. And this kind of domicile is, in most cases, uh, acquired by minors, is acquired by women, the married women, or is acquired by people like these people working in the foreign affairs, like you're the ambassador, like you're a representative of the country in a certain country, and you intend to be there for some good time. Then the operation of the law can give you that kind of domicile. Let me talk about women, married women. The law provides that once a woman is gets married to another man, to a man actually, then that woman will automatically acquire the domicile of that man. If a Ugandan woman marries a man from Kenya, then that woman acquires Kenyan domicile. She can no longer have a Ugandan domicile, but at this time round, she will take on the Kenyan domicile. The same thing if a Kenyan woman marries a Tanzanian woman, a Tanzanian man, then that becomes a different, that woman acquires a different domicile. Then another person that acquires a domicile of choice, no, no, not domicile of choice, but domicile uh, of dependent domicile or domicile by operation of the law, they are minors, especially minors who are adopted. Minors who are adopted. Once a minor is adopted, that person acquires domicile by operation of the law, acquires domicile of the person that has adopted that person. Uh, and then we have minors who are born, thrown away before they attain full age. They don't know their parents, they are there. Then that individual also acquires a domicile by dependent by operation of the law. The country within which that person is found in is the country that gives him or her domicile. So those are a few categories of domicile that we have at hand. You need to appreciate the doctrine of domicile more and more and more, because here we don't give a much of content about a specific uh, doctrine or a specific principle, but we try to give light so that when you're reading, you can appreciate more and more. Otherwise, I want to thank you so much for being here, for watching. Please subscribe. Please share with friends. Please comment, ask questions. They will be attended to. Otherwise, I wish you a very good time.